Good evening, everyone.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
Good,
Good
good.
evening.
How you doing? Good to see you, Calvin.
Evening.
Hey,
Evening.
Sonia.
Hey there. Make yourself comfortable. We're going to give folks time to come in. Um, and I'll unmute myself in a few minutes. Going to type some things in the chat room. I surely miss Vince because he was doing all the work. But I'll be right back in a few moments.
All right. Me too.
Guess it's just you and I, Bill.
Yeah, great to meet you.
Great to meet you, sir. Are you in Chicago?
No, I live in Louisville, Kentucky. But on June the 12th, I will be in Chicago for Super Crowd Chicago.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Is that a week event or is that just a day?
It's just the day. It's going to be just June the 12th.
Okay, that's great. I'll be around here somewhere. What do you do in Louisville, Kentucky, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so I'm a investment crowdfunding strategy consultant.
Okay, that's awesome.
And I also do rewards crowdfunding. I don't talk about it much, but I do work with Fund Black Founders. And we did like 50 campaigns last year.
That is great. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful brown and black entrepreneurship going on. So it's good. Any way we can get some support from other organizations, that's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Bill, I run an entrepreneurship program here, and next week we're actually talking about crowdfunding. So, and it's basically just kind of giving them the landscape, getting them to even understand crowdfunding. We give them a list of all of them from seed fund and talk about equity funding versus rewards-based funding and, Kickstarter versus GoFundMe and things like that. We only spend, maybe about a half hour on it just to really give them a sense of some of the options that they have for funding. Would you be interested in doing a workshop for us?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And also, I have an ebook called "Introduction to Investment Crowdfunding for Black Business Owners" that's free. I give that away to provide more information about that. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely hit me up afterward. Well, don't hit me up afterwards. It's a little late here. Hit me up tomorrow.
Okay. What's your number?
502
502
912
912
2570.
2570.
And also on June the 12th, I will actually be in Chicago at Super Crowd Super Crowd Chicago. And that's
I heard you mention that. That's about crowdfunding?
Yeah, it's a crowdfunding event, impact crowdfunding and impact investment for crowdfunding.
Okay. So our graduation for this semester is actually June 7th or 8th. It's that Friday. So we'll be past the semester, but we have 2 full semesters per year. But we also do online workshops and things like that. So maybe we can talk about an online workshop, and maybe if you have any information you want to share about your organization, I could do some handouts next week. We have 3 classes simultaneously that we run around the city, one on the south side, one on the west side, and one down in Harvey, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights. So if you have any information about your organization that you might want to share, I can get that out to the class next week. And I know it's short notice, but if available, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evening, our classes run from 6 to 9. Maybe we can chime you in for 10 minutes via Zoom or something like that to the class.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and no short notice for crowdfunding conversations.
Okay. What's the name of your organization?
So my company is called CrowdMax. And we just kicked off a digital company that does the same thing that I do, consulting, but it's on a digital platform, and that's called Raiseway App. And love to talk to you about about how we may be able to provide some access to the Raise Way app for maybe some of your students if they're interested in that.
Okay. All right, cool. I'll give you a call tomorrow. And we'll talk through it and see if we can chime in next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right, awesome.
Sounds good. You guys know how to do this, don't you? You know exactly what you're supposed to do. Come in, connect, and make it happen. We're still going to give them a few more minutes, just 6:04 people. And actually, I was going to put Bill back a little bit because a couple of people did express interest about the crowdfunding. Okay, Philip, you're going to be first. Just letting you know.
And to
I'm
give
gonna
you a
put
little background, Bill, Calvin runs our drone and urban farming program. Miss Imani Muhammad was one of our students back in the 20-teens. So so was Sonia.
That's right. That's
So
right.
we've got a nice little network going.
Oh,
We're all in the house. We're all in the house. Hey, if nobody else show up, we're gonna get something done tonight. So, but we're hoping. We had 20 people sign up. Let's see how they're gonna do. Mr. Clark, this is the first time you've been on one of my Zooms. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well, but I keep up with you.
You keep up with me? Okay then. Okay then. We're gonna give you opportunity.
After all, Miss Perdue, if you ask Ron Carter, I'm the daddy of South Street News.
Oh, are you really?
That's right.
I didn't know that. He didn't say. I'm gonna ask him about you. We never had a discussion about you.
Ask him about me. Ask him about me every time he talks to me.
Mr. Clark.
He, for 2 decades, he asked me when was I gonna, restart the paper. I started. He came on as the advertising manager, and that was back in the '90s, and he kept it going, Ron and I are very well acquainted.
Wow. Well, then he doesn't think anything bad about you because he's never mentioned you. So that's good news right there by itself.
I would hope that he doesn't think anything bad about me. He's never said anything to my face. You don't know what people say, behind the scenes. But I've known Ron, like I said, for 3 decades now.
Oh, wow. And I think it was 2017, let me see, 15, somewhere up in there, 17, 18, 19. I did publish the newspaper, so that was a good experience.
Yeah, well, I mean,
so
I knew you.
I know how to publish newspapers.
Yeah, well, I knew you were, you were involved at some point during the, during the paper's run. And, I talked to Ron not too long ago. He's involved with the grocery store. And
Yes, he is.
I'm a developer and a development consultant these days. So he asked me, about that. So I talked to him, and I talked to my buddy from the West Side, Grady Northwood. And
Grady, yes.
Yeah, and I keep my work now is involving development and technology. I've been in for a long time. And of course, it's ironic because Brother Huston was the one that told me about this event, and he's telling me about an event in my town.
Okay.
With people that I know, but that's all right. And so, Bill and I have had some real good chats, and we're looking to do some good things together with the crowdfunding as well. Looking to be, more involved with that. And but I want to really help, to get us really into the emerging development, and access to capital spaces that we haven't seemed to be able to, to break into as well as we need to. Hopefully over the next couple of years, we'll be able to do something about that. But I'll be at the crowdfunding event in June that Bill mentioned, and that we'll have a couple of things we'll be bringing up at that that event. And of course,
Okay.
Mr. Fairweather, I remember when he was at the CHA.
Okay. Well,
Two
Mr. Clark,
times.
Mr.
That's
Clark,
right.
let's do this. Let's get started. Okay. Everybody real
Sure.
comfortable here. And that's a wonderful thing. We've got a lot of things to do.
Yeah,
And
Sonia, Cedrick is saying that he doesn't have any audio. He's not able to hear. Is that correct, Cedrick? Actually, it's in the chat.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I think I don't know. I think it's the speaker on my phone. It sounds real low, but I'm still here. I can hear.
Okay, great.
we can hear you, Cedrick. Relax.
Okay.
I know he was
I was like,
rushing
man, I
around.
can't hear nothing.
Everything was going on with Cedrick, so it's all good, Cedrick. We're gonna make it through. Don't no worries, no stress. Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
All right then. All right. And hopefully we'll have a few more people. But hey, we can make something happen tonight with people we get here. So let me read my notes. I'm real lazy, people. Vince, Chief Operating Officer for EA, was taking care of everything for me, and so that's making me have to do a little work. But that's okay. We can do this. I'm Sonia Cassandra Purdue, founder of Chicago's Black Business Network, and welcome to our Ask an Expert virtual event hosted by Chicago's Black Business Network and our new business entity, Shopping Black Chicago. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Just visit shoppingblackchicago.com to learn more. And I hope everybody places their full ad display in our new directory. And so we want to thank you for taking the time to join us, because we do know that all of our plates are full. My plate is full. Phillips over there, he's got 3 classes going every week in addition to the other things he has to do in administration over there. Bill, you got things coming up. Mr. Clark, I know you working over there somewhere and doing this and doing that. I keep up with you too, okay? Amani is here. Miss Muhammad is here. How you doing? She's busy all the time. I know that. And so everyone here, their plate is full. So I'm very, very appreciative when you take the time. And we're doers. That's why we're here, And I'm actually doing this, well, not only for you to connect, but it's for the general public to connect. And it's hard to get them to do something, but it's doable. And I'm going to keep striking at it and keep hitting at it. And this is being recorded. So those who don't hit us tonight may possibly hit us on YouTube, because this video is going to go on YouTube, and I break it up so that everyone has their section can be seen instead of the whole 2 hours. We may not be here 2 hours tonight. So that each speaker or panelist, their section can be seen. Okay. So we have this evening, which all of you know each other really. Kevin is our commercial drone specialist, Kelvin Young. What happened to our father of Black comics? I should have checked on him. I did by email, but I didn't call him. So he's missing in action a little bit, but who knows? Bill, how you pronounce your last name, Bill? Is it Huston or Houston?
Houston. It's Houston. They pronounce it wrong in Texas. Yes. That should be Houston, Texas. So it's Houston.
Is it Houston? Okay. Crowdfunding expert. And people were chatting with me about that. So I was really expecting a few more people, but that's okay. We can give them the video. And Cedrick Phillips, who's a new acquaintance, is a financial specialist. He's the president of his own finance company. So that should be an interesting connection as well, from personal loans to commercial loans, real estate loans, the whole gamut. So that should be interesting. Philip Fairweather is with us, business and financial consultant. And Philip can tell you about all the things that he does within the Entrepreneurs Academy entity. Okay, there's quite a few things that we want to share, including an event if you are in Chicago. Let me see,
June
Mr.
1st.
Clark, June 1st, and we're going to let you tell about that so that you can spread the word. I think it's about 60 vendors or something like that last night. and be there. And I just want to share this so that be sure to put your information in the chat room and also ask any questions that you would like in the chat room. Everybody will get a hotel savings card if you stay to the end. And I think that we're going to get started. Philip, we're going to get started with you and asking you to tell us about your June 1st event and what you have going on over at Entrepreneurs Academy. So you have the floor, Philip.
Okay, so thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to meet you all. Bill and Mr. Clark, we've crossed paths, but we don't really know each other. And welcome in Cedrick, and great to see you, Imani, as always. I don't know who the phone number is, but welcome and thank you for coming out tonight. So Entrepreneurs Academy, I've been running these programs since 1996. I was actually brought to Chicago as part of the federal transition team that took over the Chicago Housing Authority in 1996. And my job was to take public housing residents, help them start their own businesses, and contract with city, state, and federal agencies. In the 3 years that I was there, we started 143 businesses. We contracted over $78 million with public housing residents and employed almost 5,000 people. So we won national awards as the best welfare to work program in the nation under the Clinton administration 2 years in a row, 97 and 98. And that's kind of when I realized that I had something, because I created all the programs myself. I'm a patented inventor. That was my business prior to coming to Chicago. And so we've continued to evolve this program over the last 25 years, specifically for our communities dealing with very specific issues in our community. And most recently, we started working with formerly incarcerated veterans, LGBTQAI plus community, and we started weaving mental health into all of our curriculum, because entrepreneurs of color are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than other entrepreneurs. We've got to lock ourselves behind 2 inches of bulletproof glass just to sell a chicken sandwich and fries, right? We're constantly worried about violence erupting in our stores because we sold somebody the wrong flavored blunt. And then if we're trying to hire from within the community, you know, what if we've got a young lady that's coming in with bruises every couple of weeks? So because she's in a domestic violence situation, if we're to really care for our communities, we can't just look the other way. So what we provide is mental health services for our entrepreneurs that are specifically designed to talk about entrepreneurial depression, self-compassion, fight or flight. You know, we don't get into paranoid schizophrenia or, you know, really seriously diagnosed mental health issues. But if you think about it, we're really trying to break down the stigma, because every single thing that we do every single day has some type of mental health component to it. It's just like our bodies. We're exposed to the wind, we're exposed to the cold, we're exposed to heat, you know, we're exposed to stressors, just our bodies. Our minds are exposed to toxic communication, stressors that we have to deal with paying bills and everything like that. So we're really trying to break down the stigma for people to see that, you know, things like procrastination get in the way of entrepreneurial success, gets in the way of all kinds of success, but, you know, specifically for the entrepreneur. And the other thing that we were really trying to focus on is making sure that our entrepreneurial endeavors are current, right? A lot of people in our communities want to be nail techs or recording artists or child care providers or senior care providers. But there is a whole economy that's moving, as it often does, right past us, like in drones, in urban farming, in, you know, 3D printing, in various aspects like that we don't really have a lot of access to or know enough about to even take the initiative to take a deeper dive. That's one of the reasons why Calvin is part of the team, to really start exposing people to the opportunities in drones, where it's insurance companies doing assessments, property owners and property managers, Airbnb, solar companies, farming. There's so many opportunities in drones, and it's a business that's just going to evolve, over time. So we try to bring these things into the communities. Right now, we're servicing the west side, south side, and south suburbs of Chicago, but our fee-for-service model have extended to Black chambers of commerce in Fresno, in Texas, in New York. So we're at this point where we're matching up our fee-for-service model for sustainability, and then we're using the grants that we get from city, state, and federal agencies as scholarships for people in communities of color and underserved and underrepresented communities. So that's kind of a broad stroke picture of what Entrepreneurs Academy does. We're partnered with CIBC Bank, so if students graduate through the program, and we don't dumb any of our stuff down. I've basically condensed an MBA into 12 weeks. We're incorporating AI into the business plan writing process. So even though we're still dealing with certain traditional businesses, we want to make sure that each student comes away with a little bit of technical as they evolve into their business, because half of my class right now, AI is coming to kill us all, and and they don't realize that ChatGPT can help them find funding sources. They can help them find, just the little things that they can benefit. Writing their business plans with perfect grammar has always been a challenge in our communities, and now AI has flattened that curve. So that's a lot of what we do, but we will hold people's hands to a point, or at least be side by side with them when they go to the bank. We'll go to the bank with them. If they're looking at a property, we'll go with them to help them negotiate the lease so they don't get taken advantage of. And we've had some really, really big successes. Is one of those examples. Sonia is one of those examples. We've got Maria Anderson, who does our culinary arts program. She just won a Grammy for her children's cooking show. So we're trying to cream off the top, the best in our communities and push them forward. And those that we're not creaming, we're at least getting them to the next level. And one of the best things you can find out through our programs is that you're not meant to be an entrepreneur, and you should probably just go get a job.
That is true. That is true. Do we have any questions right now for Philip? I have a few. Oh, you are very quiet out there. Very quiet. Well, I have a few, Philip. Okay. One thing I've been advocating for, and I do too much. I told people, I keep telling people now, my plate is full. I can't do anything else. And then I'll pop up this morning and do something else, start something new. Okay. Hey, Chicago, which is texting updates to people, different things. But one thing I've been trying to advocate for a whole lot of things. Every year, like one of my friends said to me, they had 100-some people at their family reunion. And you probably see in some of your notes, and I start writing you all those notes because I just be writing my thoughts to you. That my friend said they had 100-some people at their family reunion. I said, well, did you have a family meeting? No, we had a meeting, but it was a planning meeting for the family reunion. But they didn't talk about business. They didn't talk.
It was a drinking meeting.
They didn't talk about, it was a drinking meeting, an eating meeting, a music meeting. And I know I haven't seen you in a long time meeting, but they didn't have a business meeting. And I've been saying this for a while. Contact Entrepreneurs Academy, regarding family business. Are you having a family reunion this year? And they sort of ignoring me. Like they don't understand what I'm saying. But I think that that's a very important. When do you get 100-some people together in your family to have that type of conversation? And I want to ask you, because we haven't had a conversation about it, is that something you would be interested in pursuing again and giving them consultations on? I think that that's important. You got 100-some people together.
I think that's a brilliant concept.
anything.
Right.
And so if we can set up some type of model for that, let us help you organize the business expect. Philip, did I lose you?
No, I'm still here.
I think I lost him.
No, I can
Oh,
hear
you are? Oh, you just disappeared. Can we set up a sort of model for that for consultation? Because they don't do it because they don't understand, number one, how important it is, but they don't know how to organize it either. Okay, or
Sure.
either. They don't know how to do that, and they're just missing the whole point. I mean, they're huge all over the country.
So I think that would be an interesting concept to push. And you know, do you do it through an event planner? Do you do it through the person who is the leader of the family that is bringing this event together? I mean, who do you pitch that to? I would think that if you, I can't imagine that people that are progressive, and if they've got 100 family members to get together, there's just statistically speaking, there's got to be entrepreneurs in that crowd and people that see the benefit of pulling a family together to be able to create generational wealth. So I think the packaging for that would be important, and then the key personnel that you would be approaching about it is critical too, because if you don't get the buy-in on the front end, then it's just not going to get pulled off. And you got to look at how much time would you take up, because usually people, when they're getting together for family reunions, they're either thinking about how great it's going to be, or who do they have beef with that they're going to run into.
They already mad.
Right? If you're talking about Medea's family reunion, you know, I don't know if you could even pull off a business, you know, meeting in that type of environment, you know. But
well, before the reunion, those who want to participate, and then they go there and talk about it if they want. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah. I'm definitely open to talking more about that.
Okay. Are you going to make AI part of the master plan workshop series when you review the schedule?
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, we're looking for other topics, and that's one of the things that we're doing with our students right now is we're asking them specifically, what do they want to know more about? You know, and the financing, crowdfunding is one of those things. You know, industries that you can go into with drones is another topic. Insurance and how to generate generational wealth. You know, how do you use insurance? And that's one of the things that I've been pushing in the class. When I have the insurance person come in, I told them I don't want to just talk about protecting assets and term life insurance. That's pushed in our communities all the time. You know, I want to talk about indexed universal life. How do you get higher interest rates and stack money that you can draw down on? How do you get life benefits while you're still alive? And
living benefits,
yeah, living benefits, and the different vehicles that you can use. So yeah, I'm wide open to talking about AI. What little I know, I'll get an expert in there. I've just been using AI on the business plan development side, just to get people's feet wet, and you know, maybe writing poetry or writing some words for their marketing materials and things like that, just to get them comfortable with it. Because a lot of times we got to slowly introduce concepts into our community because of all the preconceived notions and biases that they hear on the news or on Facebook that are a lot of it steeped in conspiracy theories. You know, I mean, there is a genuine concern about AI, don't get me wrong. You know, that gets out of control, that can cause a lot of damage. But you know, the benefits, I believe, outweigh, you know, the risks. I mean, it's like not inventing the internet because of pedophiles. You know, you invent the internet and then you got to figure out a way to manage it, right? And you got to put the guardrails in and everything like that. And the same thing applies with any technology that can impact the masses the way AI does.
This is true. They were concerned about the horses, the horse and buggy, the cars replacing the horse and buggies, but we made it, didn't we?
I sure did.
So it's gonna always be that. I love AI. I really do, and I'm about to go in and learn me a whole lot more about it. I just love it. Okay.
Yeah. And I forgot, you said you wanted me to mention something about June 1st. So June 1st, one of the mandates that we have with our contract is we have to do large community events to draw down people to build awareness on violence prevention and intervention. The state did a report. They said there's 5 ways to reduce violence in our communities: victim assistance, youth services, reentry, economic development, and mental health. So we approach violence prevention through 3 of those vehicles: mental health, economic development, and reentry, right? So this event on June 1st, we're taking over Mandrake Park, which is on 39th and Cottage Grove. It's a couple of acres of land. Last year we had about 70 businesses out there. 4 of them had sold out 2 times, had to run home, get more inventory. You have a DJ, a bouncy house for the kids. We had mental health services, massage, food trucks, all this. But when we have these big events, we also bring people together for a conversation. Last year, the conversation was, how does economic development impact mental health and reentry? And this year, our panel discussion is going to be women who have experienced violence and use that for an entrepreneurial cause. So a woman that's gone to prison came out, started a not-for-profit to support reentry services for women that have been in prison, that have been battered and experienced domestic violence. So that's one of the panelists. Another one, she lost her leg because a drunk driver hit and run when she was reaching into the trunk for groceries, crushed her against the car, and she lost a leg. And she was a fitness model and a designer, and now she's designing clothes for amputees, right? Because if you lose your leg, all they do is they tie the sweatpant in a knot, right? That's the fashion, right? But she wants to create clothing for amputees specifically. So, and these are all Black and brown women. So that's our panel discussion on June 1st. And we'd encourage people to come out or share the word so we can get, other men and women down there for that conversation. So people are more aware of the things that are going on and where they can get support and help. So that's what our big events are always about: sharing community resources, letting people know who's in the community and who's doing what, and then having these tough conversations.
Absolutely. Have Evelyn get those particulars to me. I wasn't aware of those particulars as far as the speakers and those type of things going on.
Yeah, I just secured the panel this week. So
oh, you just did it? Okay.
Yeah, because it's June 1st. We're a month and a half out. So we're going to be hitting it hard all the month of May on the marketing, and I'm putting the bios together for all of the speakers and everything like that right now. So as soon as we have the flyer together, I'll get that stuff all over to you.
Wonderful. Great, great, great. And so the vendor tables are still available, right, Philip?
Yes. Yes, you just got to go to the website and you can register right there. And I think they're $25 now for early bird, and they'll go to $35, I think, on May 1st.
Okay, people, get over there. I'll put the website in here. And any questions?
I got one.
Sure.
Go ahead.
With like for the mental side of it for like entrepreneurs, I know a lot that experience that. Is there like an intake? Is there a hotline, or how does that work?
So all they got to do is reach out to me and say that they want to take advantage of our wellness services. And then I refer them over to our mental health partner, and then they connect you up with a therapist. If you have insurance, that'll cover it. Cool. If you don't have insurance, I'll pay for it.
Okay. No, that's nice. That's nice.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and right now all of our programs are free.
I'm going to put the contact information for EA Entrepreneurs Academy in the chat room. I put the website in there, so I'm going to put the contact link in there as well. Okay, we got any
Yeah,
more
and I'll go
questions
ahead
for
and
Mr.?
I'll go ahead and put my email in as well.
Okay. Any more questions for Mr. Fairweather? Amani, you took the fleet class. Did you take the fleet class, Amani? You on mute over there?
Yeah, it was called ETP.
Which class did you ask me if I took?
Did you take the fleet class, the 12-week class?
I'm from the
Yeah, ETP.
entrepreneur training program.
Right, that's what we called it when I was running it at Bethel. It's the same curriculum.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, because when I was over there, I put all the programs together, everything. That's why when my not-for-profit got funded directly, I didn't have to go through certifications with CIBC Bank and everything. They knew that all the curriculum was my intellectual property. So they just certified us right away because they were already familiar with it through ETP, the Entrepreneurial Training Program.
I got you. I got you. Wonderful, wonderful. We're going to welcome a couple of more people. Put your contact information in the chat room. Miss Washington is here. And Lashiki, Miss Douglas is here. And we want you to put your contact information and what you do in the chat room. Amani, put yours in the chat room as well. A lot of people have connected, but everyone hasn't connected with you. So please put your information in the chat room. Thank you so much, Philip. And we'll see if anybody comes back with any questions. Now, let's see now. Since everybody's here, Bill, you still with us? You're going to be next. Crowdfunding. We probably have a little idea in our head about what crowdfunding is, but we don't really know what crowdfunding is, do we, Bill? So, where are you, Bill? Are you there?
I'm here. Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're up next. Tell us a little bit about you and give us a little education on crowdfunding.
Yeah, absolutely. First, I want to thank everybody for being here. I know everyone is really busy, and to take time out of your day to come to this program, I absolutely thank you for that, and I hope you grab some value from this today. So crowdfunding. One of the things I say about crowdfunding is it's a compound word. And if you don't build an excited and engaged crowd, you won't get the funding that you're looking for. That's the first thing to know and understand about crowdfunding. I'm going to tell you a bit about myself, how I got into crowdfunding. So around 2007, we had a local business, my son and I, and the goal was to get healthy food options into the West Louisville area, which is a food desert. And as we started to grow our business and become more successful, we needed an influx of capital. We needed to buy a vehicle and a refrigerated truck, and we just needed capital to grow. And we were unable to go to the bank to get the capital to grow our business. So we went to the city. The city said they would write us into a grant that was going on around local food. We weren't written into the grant. And, things kind of fell apart for us. And then later on, I discovered rewards crowdfunding. And rewards crowdfunding was a way for people to really be able to access some capital by going directly to their community and raising funds. The drawback with rewards crowdfunding is that it's really donation crowdfunding. You're not really getting anything in return that's going to help you to build wealth. An example that I like to use is in 2013, a company called Oculus Rift, they did a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter, and they raised $2.4 million. And the people who contributed to that campaign got some really cool goggles. 3 years later, Facebook purchased them for $3 billion. And the founders of the company became very wealthy. And the people who had supported them during their crowdfunding campaign had some really cool goggles. Fast forward to 2016, and investment crowdfunding becomes legal. Investment crowdfunding is vastly different because there is a security attached to the money that you invest, right? Not contribute, but that you invest into a business. That came about through the 2012 Jobs Act. That was bipartisan legislation signed by President Obama. And in 2016, when investment crowdfunding became legal, that was a real game changer. So investment crowdfunding, because it is backed by securities, it is regulated by FINRA and the SEC. Well, if anybody follows me on LinkedIn, you know that I just had the 8th anniversary of my business, CrowdMax Consulting. And, the reason I started CrowdMax was I was at an event in the early days of investment crowdfunding. And I was in Los Angeles, and I was on a panel, and I looked out over this vast audience. And the first thing that I noticed was that the community that needed this the most was the least represented in the audience. There were just a handful of Black people who were actually out there. So I said, this is something that can really help our community. Why can investment crowdfunding help our community? Investment crowdfunding can help our community because, number one, we're a low wealth community. Investment crowdfunding provides a pathway through inclusive investing to potentially build wealth. We're a group of people who don't really have a lot of business options that are owned in our community. I'll give you an example. In the West Louisville community where I live, there's $500 million in retail spend, but over 75% of that is leakage, right? So the money's there, we're spending the money, but we're not spending it in our community. We're not spending it with businesses that are created by people who live in our community. And what is the difference? Why does that matter? Well, it matters because if I spend my dollar in the community with businesses that stay in the community, they're probably going to hire people from the community. They're probably going to support little league baseball teams or softball teams in the community because they are community members. If I spend my dollars with someone who doesn't live in the community, at 5 o'clock, that dollar leaves, never to be seen again in our community. And investment crowdfunding is one solution to that. So when you think about $500 million, that's $500 million in retail spend. What if 5% of that stayed in the community? What if 10% of that money stayed in the community? How many people could be hired? Well, then the other part of that is that if the people in the community are actually the people who invest in that business, now they are not only going to be investors, they are going to be customers, and they are going to be brand ambassadors. According to Honeycomb Credit, companies that successfully crowdfund the following year increase their revenue by 60%. Why do they increase their revenue by 60%? Because now the people who invested in that company have a vested interest in the success of that business. So they are going to buy as much of whatever it is you're selling as they can. They're going to tell every single one of their friends about that. So I think that crowdfunding, both rewards and investment, but specifically investment crowdfunding, is definitely a vehicle that should be looked into by our community. And another reason, and I say that, and I was joking with someone the other day that I speak to my audience, right? And I see my audience, right? So I'm going to say that the time and the effort that our community spend complaining about the lack of access to capital through venture capitalists, if some of that energy was put in to crowdfunding, to growing investors, growing the education for investors, and really relating to investors and getting people to invest and understand the benefits of investing in businesses in their own community, investing in startups, then I think that there would be access to capital. Maybe not as large an amount of capital, but we're not really getting those large amounts of capital anyway, right? We think we are, but only 0.45% of venture capital goes to Black businesses, Black startups. Back in 2021, kind of at the height, in the heyday, 1.2% of venture capital went to Black founders. In the investment crowdfunding space, 23% of all the dollars raised go to minority founders. They don't really break it out for Blacks, but go to minority founders, right? So not only are these businesses getting the access that they need, but they're getting investors, they're getting customers, they're creating jobs, and they're creating a local economy in communities where our dollars leave immediately. So, crowdfunding is a very valuable asset if used properly in our community. I always like to tell people the truth. It's hard. You have to really build that crowd, and it's important that you build the crowd. But if you do build the crowd and you do get those investment dollars, then it's really worth it, because now you have people who are going to be with you for the duration of the business because they have a financial benefit tied to the success of your business. Thanks.
I had a question.
Yes.
So do you walk people through the crowdfunding process? What is, how do you support the entrepreneurs? Are you just educating them on how crowdfunding works and the various things that are out there? Do you help them cipher between, a Kickstarter or Indiegogo, or, or is it all investment crowdfunding that you focus on?
All of those things. I do all of those things. So if you hire me as a consultant, then I will walk the entrepreneur, the business owner, through the process, right? So I do campaign management. I also provide education to people and communities, right? To entrepreneurs, founders, and communities through CrowdMax. We do webinars. And one of the interesting things is, I just told you that this is my 8th year doing CrowdMax, and just this year I became a co-founder at a company called Raiseway. And what we do at Raiseway is we have taken the CrowdFit program that I've developed over the years, and we've actually put it on a digital platform. So what that looks like is that there are 4 modules. The first module is the discovery of crowdfunding. So that tells you, it explains to you what is the best type of crowdfunding, what crowdfunding is, the benefits of crowdfunding. Then there's the part called testing the waters. And the testing the waters is kind of like the pre-launch to the campaign. So that helps you build your crowd. It walks you through every step of the process that I would walk you through that process if you worked with me individually. Then the next phase is the actual campaign execution. That's when you are actually raising dollars from the crowd that you developed in the pre-launch perspective. And then the fourth is, we call it investor relations for investment crowdfunding. It is mandated by regulation crowdfunding, Reg CF, that you have to communicate with your investors. Now, really, no one should need to tell you to do that, right? Because they are going to be the most important people in your business. But it is mandated. So we actually on the Raiseway platform, we actually walk you through the process of doing your investor reporting. So to kind of circle back to some of the things that we do, is that we automate these processes for founders, right? Because founders are not necessarily crowdfunders. They're not necessarily marketers. They're founders. They do whatever it is that their business does. So, we've created CRMs for founders to use. We've infused the marketing, the compliance, business planning, writing executive summaries. We've infused AI technology into that, so it will create those marketing documents, your business documents. It will create those for you, and then you just need to go in and edit it to make sure that it's in your voice. And then the same thing on the final end, when you actually are reporting to your investors. We again infuse AI to create the content, and then you can go in, edit the content to ensure that it's in your brand voice, and then distribute the emails. Social media is automatically distributed after it's created by the AI, and of course you always want to take a look at it and edit it. So Even though I've been in business for 8 years with CrowdMax, when the opportunity came to become a co-founder with Raiseway, I absolutely jumped at that opportunity because it's a way to scale what it is that I do. It's a way to service many more people and still provide them with high quality value. So I'm really excited about what it is that we're doing with Raiseway. But
Okay,
yes, absolutely.
so with Raiseway, you get the app and you get the process and everything like that. Is a technical assistance or a coach affiliated with that process so that they're working the software kind of on their own, but there's someone that can help guide them through philosophies or strategies or things like that?
Yes, great questions. I think you almost feel like a plant here. That is a great question. Yes, absolutely. We support the entrepreneur. So both myself and my co-founder have successfully raised capital using regulation crowdfunding. As a matter of fact, I've worked on 15 campaigns. 13 of those campaigns were successful, raising over $1.7 million for founders. So yes, we walk people through that process, um, but not in the same manner that you would if you hired me to work with you through CrowdMax, right? So if you wanted to work with me individually, you could hire me out as a consultant, right, at a much lower rate. That's the other benefit is that the Raiseway platform is very inexpensive. You get access to the platform for an entire year, but also we support entrepreneurs through what we call office hours, and we also support entrepreneurs through webinars where we'll come on and we'll do a mass webinar and we'll talk about a particular aspect of the crowdfunding campaign. And of course, if you have questions, we'll answer those questions for you. So there is a level of support, but to be perfectly clear, it is not like hiring my co-founder or myself to actually work with you individually.
Sure. And my last question, because I don't want to monopolize the time, is working with you individually, is that a flat fee? Is that a commission base? How is that payment structure?
Yeah, so that's a flat fee. And I'll tell you the reason why. The reason why it's not on commission is because I am not a registered broker dealer. So because we are talking about securities, I am not allowed to take a success fee.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
We'll talk more tomorrow.
Great questions. Thank you.
I got some questions for
Thank you so much. Who is that?
Cedrick.
Me. You're located in Chicago, right? Where are you located?
Louisville, Kentucky.
So I'm in Wisconsin. So like vice versa to what you said, I am a broker. Some of the things that we do work with when they can't possibly qualify is, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with CDFIs, correct?
Absolutely.
So we got CDFIs here in Wisconsin that do Kiva loans. So the Kiva loans. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, that wasn't me.
Okay. So let's just say, because you said you have to have the right type of crowd. So with these Kiva loans, basically it's crowdfunding, 0% interest. They put them on their platform. X amount of people donate, and then they actually have to have family, friends donate also. So just as far as like crowdfunding, what is like I would say, what have you seen for like the best crowd? I got a guy right now. He has a business. It's called Boxing. He should be popping on here. Boxing saves lives. So he's looking for more equipment, things like that. But is it more of, the right crowd? Am I looking for, like how would they present it in a sense? Because I know with the Kiva loans, they do have to pay those back. It's crowdfunding. So am I guaranteeing a return? Like what would make sense for them to go out there themselves to do it? Or is it more better for them to go to that professional like you?
So there's a lot of questions in there. So I'm
going
to try to unpack this. So I
was kind of thinking that myself.
So
you and him will have to have a consultation, but go ahead.
So I am aware of Kiva, and how regulation crowdfunding, investment crowdfunding differs is the first and foremost, you set the terms as the entrepreneur. Whatever terms you want to present, right? So if you want to offer 3% interest, you can offer 3% interest. That is perfectly your right, right? Obviously, as both you and I know, no one's going to invest in that, right? But you set the terms, and that's something that's really important. Anytime you raise capital, what that is it is the slow conversion of social capital into financial capital. So the right crowd is always going to start, with friends, family, people who know you, people who want to support you, customers, vendors, people who are going to potentially benefit from the increase in your business. And then in the crowdfunding space, what we're looking at is that primary network that we can reach out directly to. And then we're looking at a secondary network, which may be a network of people who know you, right? And I know you, but I don't know the founder, but I trust you, Cedrick. So when you tell me about this opportunity, I'm going to take a look at it because I trust you, even though I don't know the founder, right? So that's that primary, and then the secondary. And then, tertiary, you're starting to look out there for people that you don't know, right? So what they're investing in sometimes is more the momentum that you've been able to generate from your own social network. So that's when you talk about a crowd, that's what that crowd looks like. As you talk about investors, you obviously want to identify those investors and then segment your messaging to those people. What do I mean by that? So some people are going to invest in me because they know me and they trust me, they believe in me, and they could care less about what I do, right? Then there are people who are going to invest because they're going to say, wow, crowdfunding could have a huge benefit and impact in the Black community. And then there are people who are going to invest in me because they say, wow, this business could make $100 million and I'm going to get a nice return. So understanding exactly who my investor is, how I'm going to reach out to that investor, where that investor is, and how I reach out to them. Those are the steps and the processes that you're going to go through to build this crowd. Also, you are going to use, if you work with me, and this isn't for everyone, but if you work with me, you're also going to use content marketing. So we're going to tell stories. We're going to talk about the business. We're going to talk about failures that you may have had and how you overcame those failures. We're going to talk about successes that you had. We're going to talk about the impact that this product can have, product or service is going to have on particular communities. So we're going to offer engagement. We're going to offer engaging content. And when you think about crowdfunding from this perspective, this is an often missed opportunity. When people invest in my business, right, whether it's debt, whether it's equity, these people believe in me, but they also, right, are open to have a conversation with me, to have a dialogue with me. And a lot of times people miss the opportunity to use these people as a focus group, right? That crowd that is invested in you, in your company, that they are now a part of your business with a vested interest. CDFIs. So we work with anyone, right? So if you're a bank, if you're a venture capitalist, if you're a CDFI and you cannot provide a loan for someone, why not send them to us? Right? Why not tell them about crowdfunding and send them to us? Because unlike those other institutions, in crowdfunding, your money is in your crowd. Your ability to excite and engage your crowd is going to determine the amount of money that you are able to raise. I hope I answered all those questions because you asked me a bunch of them.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good. No, so that definitely helps as far as
I do have a question for you as well. I think you gonna get. I think you and Cedrick gonna get real deep with that. You can't hear?
You were breaking up a little bit.
I can't hear you, Bill. Okay, that's great. I'm back now. I did have one question for you, and briefly, Bill, what industries work what industries and what type of companies work best with crowdfunding?
So the industries that work best with crowdfunding are obviously businesses where you have direct customer interaction. Those are going to be the very best customers. So if you have a small business, and a restaurant, a bar, a food truck, those work really well because you have direct engagement and contact, with your customers. So you can have those conversations. They work good. Um, Different types of products that are consumer facing work really good, especially if you're selling to your customers and your customers have been around for a while. Then they are going to be great people to go to for investors. But there's real estate crowdfunding. There's as a matter of fact, Lanier Richardson from Chicago Trend. He has 3 shopping centers that he's raising capital for. I'm working with an affordable housing client out of South Carolina currently. So you can do real estate as well. Those are the ones that work the best. There are startups, tech startups, fintech startups that actually are successful at raising capital. I'm working with a fintech startup out of South Africa that is successfully raising capital. So the better question is, how large is your network and how willing is your network going to be to invest in your business is probably a better question than what are the best industries, to actually invest in, because again, your money is in your crowd.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bill. We've learned a lot. I've learned a lot, and we have a lot more to learn. This is probably not an easy thing. It's never easy, but it's doable, as you've shown us. Great. Kelvin Young, very, very laid back there. It's your time. Kelvin Young, commercial drone specialist. I mean, his resume is too long to talk about. We can't do that. But urban farm specialist with Entrepreneurs Academy, and probably 100 other things that he does. And I wanted Kelvin Young to join us this evening because I'm interested. I'm not going out and learning the drones and doing the drones, but I felt that it wasn't the response that I wanted towards Entrepreneurs Academy, because people are failing to understand the significance of what can happen learning this particular trade. This is not about just going in your backyard and getting a little drone from Kmart and flying it around. This is a specialty. Entrepreneurs Academy has created a class, I think it's 12 weeks, and I'm going to let him explain it, that shows you how to operate a commercial drone business. So this is not fun and games. This is a serious thing. Starting from scratch and going to the ownership of a commercial drone business, that we are just at the tip of utilizing these drones in a way that we're not going to even imagine in about 10 years. And I'm having difficulty getting people to fathom that and understand it. But that's not the only thing we're having difficulty getting people to do. But I'm like, do you understand what we're talking about? And they're missing it, Kelvin. So I'm gonna turn this over to you, Kelvin, and you tell us what you're doing over there at Entrepreneurs Academy.
First of all, I want to say I'm very proud to represent Entrepreneurs Academy, where I report and do some amazing things with Phil and Vince over at Entrepreneurs Academy. I teach drone technology, which in the drone world they call UAV, unmanned aerial vehicles. And I'm also, we've got several initiatives in the urban farming categories, where we're building out urban farms in Chicago, out in the Harvey community and out west. So I'm very proud to say I'm part of that. And we're doing something very revolutionary, where we're making smart farms. And with the smart farms, we're able to track and data log critical data that keeps our plants alive. But on the UAV or drone side, we give 2 classes where I teach them. And we also have a class where we give it in Spanish. So if we know some Spanish speakers that wants to take the class, we offer that. We're probably the only Spanish speaking drone class in the Chicagoland area. And I'll have Phil correct me if I'm wrong. But all right, but anyway, so I give 2 classes of drones. One is the part 101, drone 101, where I introduce you to the plethora of drone applications out in the communities now. And these are things that every single industry these days, as you may know, are touching drones, from agriculture, medicine, you name it, food delivery. They're being used. However, our brown and black communities are not on the bandwagon yet. So I give the first class to really explore what the different applications are. The second class, which I call part 2, is where I teach our students how to certify with their part 107. So you have to take a test administered by the FAA. And with this license, part 107, you're able to fly or make money commercially. And that's what we're doing, and that's what we're teaching our students that come through our drone program. So at a high level, that's what we're doing in the drone space. I'll pause there for any questions.
Amani had her hands raised. Unmute yourself, Amani. You got a question?
I did. That was with, well, I just wanted to comment. I learned a lot from Mr. Bill Huston in regards to crowdfunding, because it was something that we were considering. My daughter didn't really like the interest rates that they were talking about at Honeycomb, but you highlighted something that made sense, in that when people invest in a company, they see it as, because it is a part of their company, so they have a vested interest, and then they want to make sure that they're a part of seeing that company grow. Another thing that you made me think of is what you all were talking about earlier with AI. I joined the TBM 360 AI program, and with that, I've learned to I've been able to capture my customers. So many of you, I don't know if you know our company, but we were in stores like Whole Foods, Pete's Fresh Markets, and I could recall I was saying in a meeting that one day we were in a Pete's in the south suburbs, and we literally had a line in the store to get samples from us. The manager came down and was like, "Wow, how did you all do that?" And it was because my whole family was in the store, myself, my husband, my children, and we were walking around the store, and they were like, "You got to go over and get a sample." Here's the problem: we didn't capture any of those customers. So, but now with this AI system, I simply say what I did in the chat. I ask you all to text 2 words, bean pie, to that number. And then I have you as a customer, you can keep up with me and I can keep up with you. So that's just one aspect. But and you talked about the, building out your own community. So that's a good way to do that. And then through automation, I can also communicate with these clients as well using AI.
So tell me what that program is again that you're using to capture this information.
The TBM 360 AI system. You're probably familiar with Cassie, Opia, Uhuru of the Black Mall.
Yeah.
You said,
Mm-hmm.
Imani, you said TBM, B as in boy?
Yes, like the Black Mall.
Oh, the Black Mall.
Oh, it's the Black Mall 360 AI. Okay.
Yeah, I could actually put the link to it in the chat if you all want me.
Oh, that'd be great.
I just gotta grab it from my email.
Okay.
So it allowed me to, right now I'm working on a new website to connect. I could my memberships, my automation too. It's so many ways that I can connect with my customers, and I can schedule my social media out a year actually, but we schedule it out for like a few months. We hit all of the holidays and things like that. That way that's always active, even when we get too busy. whereas before it was kind of
Mhm.
an up and down thing. Our posting, what else? It's
Okay.
so many aspects to it. It's ridiculous. We could generate pictures out of there. I generate things like when I'm running out of content, as specific as you are with the chat is what works for you. So I may ask them to give me something funny, about bean pies or homes, or or just anything. And it just gives me all this different content and make it easier for my life.
Well, you're a good referral. I'm certainly going to go over there and look at it. I'm learning AI. I know a little bit about it, and a little bit I know about it. I like the things that you just said.
Mhm.
I don't know her, but I know of her. I've
Mhm.
seen her and I've talked to her, but I'm not in her clique over there. I know they do a lot of things over there on the South Side, and I got to come over to the
Mhm.
South Side and get me some food too, real soon, because you don't deliver up here where I'm at. But I got to come real
We'll be
soon.
we'll be giving out soup and sandwiches tomorrow at 2:00 on 71st and Clyde at Mama Africa's Marketplace.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of event is that?
No, we just
That
feeding
you
the
giving
people.
away food? Oh, you just feeding the people?
Right.
Okay. Sounds good. That sounds good. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, so
Uh,
Imani, I'd love to know about when you're doing those types of events, because with our urban farm and stuff like that, we can contribute, produce.
Oh yes, that would be great because we're always making soups, and we also like contribute soups to like we did it bean soup for a couple of shelters for the Nation of Islam. It's a brother, Brandon Durham, that's interested in us helping him because he's been feeding. We've helped him before, but he's been feeding the people on 79th and Cottage Grove on Friday nights for years, ever since my children were young.
Okay, so
Mhm.
our urban farm is over on 61st, just off of Cottage Grove, so we're right down the street with Dr. Shabazz at the Salon
Mhm.
Wellness Center.
Oh yes. Mhm.
Yeah, so we're taking over that garden over there, and we're growing herbs and microgreens and things like that the restaurants over there are going to be using in their recipes.
oh
So
wow.
Oh, that's great.
Calvin can share with you our list. So if you need herbs supplied and things like that, we're looking for places to distribute it. We're going to be supplying some restaurants. The people that are volunteering to work on the garden will get fresh, free produce. And then we're grooming entrepreneurs to take the produce to the farmers markets, and we'll probably start at the 61st Street farmers market over there on the south side.
Okay, sounds great.
Is this 61st or 67? That's 61st. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me some more information about that and those little things that you're doing over there, and distributing and that type of thing. That sounds great. Oh
Yeah,
my
planting is
goodness, you're
starting next
so
week.
busy.
Yeah, planting is starting next
What
week.
starts next week?
Planting.
Okay. Okay. Wow, you guys are busy. You're busy, you're busy, you're busy. I can't even grow this little plant that I'm looking at right in front of me. But I don't know what's
Take
wrong
my
with that.
class
Should
if you
show
have
it
some
to
problems then. Sonia, come sit in my class.
me.
It's urban farming, so sit in my class.
She still won't water it.
I really
She still won't water it now.
overwatered it. Yes, I did. That's why I moved it over here right in front of my face so that I could just nurture it or something. That it's pitiful. It's pitiful. It is really bad. But I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to do better, Kevin. So, Kevin, let me ask you a question. As far as the drawing class, since you've been teaching, what's been about a year or so, how is that going? Are the people being really receptive? Or afterwards, are they going in and being productive? Are they getting their license? I think I
Yes,
have
we've
another
got,
question too, but go ahead, answer that for me.
yes. Unfortunately, I wish the numbers were much higher. We do have folks that have, in fact, we had someone that graduated or went through our class over at the Salam Center, and she took her test this week,
Mm-hmm.
passed it. I'm proud of her. But we've got a handful of folks that have gone through the program, and she is actually a real estate agent. And she wants to do something different and be part of that ecosystem from a different point of view. So the class is very successful, and we've shown our students that the applications are really unreal and really broad spectrum. So whatever field that they think they want to dive into, it's there. And then we've got some other opportunities that we're working on now, such as we could talk about this with the county using drones to survey our properties that are here. So very successful class. And, you know, if we had more students, it would be really tough for us to manage, but it's a great, great class. And it's free, by the way.
Yeah, and as you know, and working in the not-for-profit sector, if things are free, it's actually a little bit harder to get people to come down because they don't really have any skin in the game, you know, and then they don't put the value on it until they're actually there and they're like, holy cow, this is an MBA in 12 weeks. Or this is, you know, there are no other drone programs out there where you actually get flying time, right? We have simulators on laptops where you can, you know, practice through simulation. We also have drones in the program where when the weather is clear, you can go outside and actually fly and start clocking those hours. Because you can have the 107 pilot's license, but that's like having a driver's license and never having driven a car. If you're going to start a business, you need to get 100 hours of flight time under your belt, and it needs to either be recorded, you know, on your phone when you're flying, or have a certified instructor there to verify that you're actually, you know, practicing and flying.
And one other thing to add, and I know you've got other folks here on the
Great.
panel. Sonia, one other thing to add, we're talking a lot about AI. And yes, a lot of students are a little nervous about what the capabilities of AI, but I tell all of our students to really embrace it. So in two facets that we're using it, with drone technology, AI is very, very powerful. So imagine I could fly over plants and use AI to detect if I got silkworm or not. And if I've got silkworm or disease or bacteria, using AI, I could send it to a canister that could kill or treat certain plants. It's really remarkable where this technology is going. So I really, really encourage our students to embrace this technology. It's very powerful.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. I was really thinking about, I did sort of cancel, I don't think we touched bases, of doing a in-person info, drone info business, like we did the business empowerment breakfast, Philip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was really thinking about doing an in-person, probably a little larger, in-person drone information session, lunch or something like that, with a box lunch or something. We'll talk about that. I didn't reach out because I hadn't planned any times, but it'll probably be after June because you are working on your event right now.
Yeah.
So I think
And,
that
you know,
may get some response.
yeah, we started this off with just a one-off introduction to drones class, you know, or just a one workshop. So, and now it's 12 weeks.
I got you. That's a change, isn't that something? But that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, all things start like that
And so
with the first step.
we will be doing drone demonstrations on our day out, June the 1st. So if you know someone that is slightly or remotely interested in learning about the capabilities of drones, we'll have a fleet of drones that we're going to show some of the capabilities during that day.
Okay, drone. Okay, demonstration. I can always include that.
Yeah.
All right.
Last year, we just had Calvin picking up water bottles and dropping them in the garbage can. Which is pretty cool.
They don't know your value, Kevin. Bill, did you have a question?
Yeah, I did. I have a question for Calvin. And with, you know, drone technology, a lot of times I personally think about drones as, you know, a way to take pictures with cameras, right? But, you know, drones are some of the most powerful weapons in the US military, and the gambit that drones run. So how do you I guess maybe convey to students that drones aren't just about taking pictures or whatever, but that there is a huge ecosystem for drones, and also that there are ways that you can innovatively use drones to maybe even start your own business, right? In an innovative way. If you could speak to that a little bit.
Well, so for 12 straight weeks at 2 hours a week, the only thing that we talk about are the magnitude of drone applications. In fact, I demonstrate what I say we can do. So if you want to be able to fly robotically or without a remote controller, I can show you how to point at a map and show your drone how to fly. We did roof surveys one day. We did an agriculture application of drones. We talk about the ways that the industry is exploding with product delivery using drones. So we spend just 12 weeks exploring all of those careers. And at the end, they have to create a capstone project and talk about starting up a new business. So they take this idea and at the end present what a new idea looks like. And having that, now they're prepared to go into Phil's class with these great ideas that need some tinkering and massaging to put into a real business model. And then the second class, they can't start this business until they have their license. So the next 12 weeks, they're going to sit with me and I'm going to show them what they need to pass the Part 107 FAA flight license. And that's
Yeah,
what
Thank you, Kevin.
yeah, and see, Bill, everything that we do at Entrepreneurs Academy, whether it's culinary arts, urban farming, it's all about starting a business in there, generating revenue, creating wealth. 80% of the people that are coming into our programs, they're just really trying to increase their household income by $50,000 to, $75,000 a year, right? If you go from a household income of $50,000 to $125,000, that's a big change, right? And that's one of the things that we push. Entrepreneurship isn't always about becoming a multimillionaire. It's about quality of life, right? And so, how can I use these new skills that I learn in these different programs and generate revenue with it? And the thing in my entrepreneurs class, the number one thing I tell you is the best thing you can find out from taking this class is you are not meant to be an entrepreneur. Just go get that job, right? Just go get that job. But here's some skills that if you want to do a side hustle, if you want to, get into a little bit of photography, and we use photography as the entrance point for drones, because if we start talking about soil samples right away or silkworms and figuring out that it's so far out of their life's experience, they almost can't imagine it yet. But if we start with photography, everybody is comfortable with that. Everybody's got one on their phone, and now I can get a shot from the air, and now I can see the world from a different perspective. That draws them in, and then we expose them to all the other possibilities. And once they wrap their mind around the photography, it's much easier to wrap their mind around all the other applications.
Wonderful. Cedrick, we're going to go to you. I'm not sure if you have a question for Kelvin, because we want you to do your presentation. And then we're going to permit the other people who are here to tell us just, take a few minutes to tell us a little bit about themselves, because 8 o'clock is going to come up on us in very quickly.
35 minutes.
Cedrick, you got the floor. And if you have a quick question for Kelvin, that'll be fine. I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah, just a quick question. What do you see like the most successful way for like businesses to start up in drones? Because even like I've seen how drones have went to another level where even like law enforcement use them for like missing persons, or they've used drones for manhunts. But just as like someone wanting to start like a drone business, is that what you teach them in that class? Like what ways they can go about it besides photography and videography?
Absolutely. So I didn't mention this. By 2028, the drone industry will balloon to $50 billion. $50 billion. So I encourage our students, no matter what it is, get into it and get into it now. Now, the quickest and easiest way to get a piece of this pie is if start a photography business. We've got one or two of our drone operators that are teaching now. He does all the quinceañeras, weddings, and things like that. And by the way, a drone operator working part-time can easily make $150,000 part-time. That's part-time. And if you put more drone pilots, you can double that, right? So no matter what you do, if you just really focus on that market space, like if it was me, I would start a website today and just start flying everywhere and put those pictures online, those videos. And before you know it, you'll get the attraction of someone that needs those footages. So the easiest way is through doing weddings and those type of community events.
Wonderful. Okay, Cedric, you have the floor now. This is our financial man. We're going to talk about money. We're going to continue the discussion. Cedrick Phillips, you go right ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. My name is Cedrick Phillips. I'm honored to be here today as a panelist. I got about 5 years experience in the financial industry, particularly in alternative financing. I've had the privilege to work with a diverse range of clients, from startup business owners to existing business owners, vets, foreign internationals, and even people that have I-10s. So just as far as what we do, I own a finance brokerage, so we're able to get alternative lending for business owners that aren't bankable, but our true goal is to help people become bankable. They may not meet those requirements now, but we work them up to do that as well. So what we do, we specialize in startup funding, personal loans, business lines of credit, equipment financing, invoice factoring, cash advances, SBA loans. We kind of do the whole nine. We also do credit repair as well. So just, I know everybody was talking about AI, and I like that everybody's using AI. Some people are scared of AI. We actually show people how to clean their credit with AI. And you can do this for free on ChatGPT. We also show people how to leverage their finances as well. If they have I know Bill was talking about crowdfunding. I've seen a lot of people in this industry that will actually like loan against their RA, or they have like private securities or 401ks as well. So we also show people how to borrow against that without fees or penalties as well. And owning a finance brokerage, we're located in Wisconsin, but we can do this nationwide, all 50 states. We can lend in Australia, Canada, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Hawaii, Guam. We can do it all. I guess that's a little intro. I don't know if anyone has any questions for me or.
Yeah, so it's all lending,
Yeah. So
but you said line of credit also.
yeah.
What are the interest rates like?
So in the alternative financing, they're not bank rates, but we do work. We have a lot of commercial bankers that we've partnered up, so we can get like prime plus. I mean, we can start off from 11%, and some of those lines can go all the way to 26%.
Okay.
Okay.
For
Monty, your hand is still up. Did you have a question, or is it just up from last time? She's in and
praising
out.
the Lord.
I have a quick question for you, Cedric.
Yeah.
So if a potential entrepreneur comes to you, maybe with some credit issues, what are some of just a few of the criteria that you may use to evaluate whether or not they can use your program?
So what we do is basically they just need a copy of their credit report, preferably a tri-merge credit report. A lot of people get confused with Vantage scores and FICO scores. Vantage 3.0 and FICO 8. So a lot of people don't know that they have 28 FICO scores. So once we are able to pull a tri-merge FICO report, we do a credit analysis. We'll go over everything that's negative on their credit. We also will prep them. So if they have like like I was telling Sonia before, you know, most banks don't want to see what past 4 inquiries per year. You know, if you have too many inquiries, we'll analyze that, give you prep to how to get those removed. But once they do the credit analysis, we'll just kind of go with those next steps.
So what's the lowest credit score you'll work with?
So we have different programs. We do have revenue-based financing, which is basically cash advances. It's particularly not a loan. They're actually going to give you future receivables of your projected sales. So those we can go as low as a 495 credit score, but then they have to be making over $10,000 a month.
So that's factoring?
No, so that's revenue-based financing. Factoring is more of outstanding receivables. So maybe I got someone right now, they had a government contract, it's consistent. They fulfilled it. So instead of waiting that net 30, 60, or 90 payment, they can actually factor that invoice to a factoring company. Usually with those factoring companies, they do charge a factor fee of anywhere between 1.5 to 3%. And they're able to advance you 80 to 90% of your money up front. And then you pay the rest on the factor fee. So those usually work for like lawn care, dump trucks. I know that season is coming up also. So some of them have to factor out because they don't want to wait that long because it's seasonal. I don't know how y'all are in the area, but we didn't get too much snow over here. So
Not much either.
I couldn't finance no new equipment, nothing like that. But they're perfect for those snow contracts where they may do that and get paid every 30 days.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Amani still checking on you over there. The next drone class is April 22nd for anyone in Chicago. Okay, and here is the link. I'm gonna put the link in there. Some kind of way I can't get to. Oh, okay, I see it. One more. Give me 1 second. Everyone in the meeting. Here we go. Here's the link to the information for the drone class. For everyone, for you to share with your nieces and nephews and cousins that don't understand what we're talking about and are not having conversations about what we're talking about. Don't keep it to yourself. Now, Ms. Douglas, did you want to?
Just to say, this is an adult class.
So
yeah, everything is 18 and older.
18 and old. No, I didn't mean the little cousins. Yeah, we wanted to clarify that. Don't bring your 15-year-old. I do have a friend who's trying to get a 16-year-old.
Well, I got little cousins that are in their 50s now, so you know.
Ms. Douglas, did you want to say a word or two about what it is that you do? Hello? Okay. Mr. Clark pepped up there. Take a few minutes, Mr. Clark. We're going to close out at 8 or about thereabouts. Take a few minutes because we want to ask everybody to say a few words about what it is that they do. Mr. Clark, everybody snoring. Okay, who's next? Ms. Washington, thank you for stopping by. You want to say a few words about what you're doing about your advocacy?
You're on mute. Everybody
went to the refrigerator, didn't you?
That's where I'm going as soon as I get off this call.
I'm gonna get me something to eat real quick. Amani, you want to say
I'm sorry.
Oh, who is that? Mr. Clark, you back?
Well, I was just listening. I'm sorry. I was fascinated by everything that I was hearing. For the most part, when I come to these types of gatherings, I like to listen and get to know what's happening with everybody there. You always learn more listening than you do if you're speaking.
Okay, Mr. Clark, just take a few minutes, Mr. Clark.
Okay.
To share what it is that you want to share.
Well, essentially, my message has been and is that we have to be very intentional about solving the issue of, access to capital for under-resourced areas, which our communities and areas generally are. That's the biggest problem that we have in business development, the biggest problem that we have in wealth creation is access to capital to make the kinds of investments and fund and support the kinds of businesses and generate the kind of economic development that we need, to really take the next steps for our community to become, self-determinative. And I think that's the message that we talked about for, a long time. And I think that we just need to, focus on the intentionality of doing that. So that's kind of what I've dedicated this part of, my, business life and career to do. I've had I think I mentioned earlier, I've had quite a few careers. In one career, I published several newspapers and publications. And another, I did a lot in the nonprofit space, starting up nonprofits. Some people may know me in my third career, which was technology. I led the way in technology in terms of technology access in Chicago for a long time. And so that's what a lot of people know about me. And then in this most recent iteration, I say I've had 4 careers. Then I've been involved in real estate development, development consulting, and sort of supporting the emerging community developer in Chicago. We've had billions of dollars in development, but we seem to have a problem in getting entities like construction companies and development consultants and developers, funded to do lots of projects that are coming to light. Of course, now with Mayor Brandon Johnson in place and his focus on, equitable development in communities, he's trying to cut red tape, and he's also trying to expand the development paradigm that we've had, changing the way development is funded and changing how Chicago has worked with development in our communities. We've got $1.25 billion that he's asked for to do development over the next 2 or 3 years. And the question is, are we as community going to be ready to be the businesses and the developers to do that work? He's going to invest that, or the city's going to invest that directly in our communities and areas that need to be developed: new housing, new commercial development, new business development, job creation. The city has a wealth building initiative, but are we going to be ready with the access to capital that we need to really be a participant in that development that's happening? I mean, all over the country, you're hearing about this problem. Even Don Peebles, who is a $700 million real estate developer, has problem with access to capital. So we've got to solve that issue. That's one of the reasons that I'm trying to work very closely with Bill Huston, because I think he's on to a real key component of us generating capital so that we can do this business development and create the opportunities for emerging developers to come about. And especially in, like I said, the project development, construction development area, a $10 million development can fund 100 it can fund 100 businesses at $100,000 a piece in terms of a contract. And a lot of people don't see that a $10 million development project in our community is a real key catalytic event, that can bring a lot of businesses to the forefront. But those businesses have to have the ability to get started, and they have to have the ability to get funded so they can be a participant in the development projects that come about. Now there's $70 billion,
Absolutely.
you know, that is going on in Chicago right now. And of that, if you look at the Affordable Rights Ordinance, and Mr. Fairweather, I'm sure knows about some of those things when he worked with the CHA, he worked with Section 3, he worked with those kinds of business development programs. Opportunities are being created and set aside 14, 15, $20 billion worth of direct development in the communities in terms of allocations from projects already going on. And then the mayor's coming with another $1.25 billion in his most recent request. But are we ready to start the businesses, create the jobs, and become the vendors that we need to become to, you know, be participants? You know, the Democratic Convention is here. There's a vendor list. I don't know how many of us are on it. You know, the Valley is still here with its casino project. So those are the things that I'm trying to see us work towards and be a part of. And, you know, my expertise is in putting together those, development programs and, you know, putting development projects together and bringing together architects and people to be part of that and to jumpstart the community development paradigm in our, you know, in the area of our city, where we have to become, you know, like I say, much more involved in creating the wealth and generating the wealth. So
Mr.
that's
Clark.
sort of my speech and spiel.
Okay. I'm gonna have to catch you by your sleeve. Thank you so much. You know, I appreciate you being here, and I thank you so much. And I hope we get an opportunity to talk one-on-one soon, because we never have, and I would really love to do that. Ms.
Anytime.
Washington, anytime. Okay, I'm gonna be sure we do that. Ms. Washington, how are you today?
I am good, and I'm hoping and praying that everyone has had a blessed day thus far. My name is Sandra L. Washington. I am the founder and Chief Executive Officer of Chom's MediHelps Foundation. What we do is we are a professional patient advocacy company. So all of you, I've listened as you spoke about your different businesses and your goals and all, but my question is this: should you get sick, are you prepared to be the leader of your healthcare? Or are you waiting for the doctors to tell you what to do and how to do it? And if you're not ready, then you need to get ready, because we all need to be engaged in our healthcare. We can't sit by and wait and hear doctors say we're non-compliant, we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. We can't sit back and wait for that. And I'm not sure we can't sit back and wait for that. So I'm not going to be long. But I did just want to introduce myself and say, you know, I'm here for you if you have any questions in reference to medical, in reference to healthcare. I'm leading the charge to make sure that our community receives the health literacy that they need to understand their healthcare. COVID was a pandemic that hit us. It's not the last pandemic. Are you ready for the next one? And if you're not ready, I highly suggest and encourage you to get ready. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Washington. And she's also a partner with Salon Wellness Center, so they know each other. This circle is just running tighter and tighter, isn't it? Phillips, Fairweather, their partners, you know, they're growing food over there and that type of thing. And they're teaching a drone class over there, Ms. Washington, just so you'll know. And I'm glad that you took the time to join us this evening. And I hope that you share that information as well. I did want to share one thing with you, and let me see if I have anybody else that needs. It's something that I saw today, and you know, to slip my mind real quick here. There's an organization, and I'm gonna tell you what it is. I'm looking at it now. Give me a second. There's an organization looking for businesses. It's called Small Business Advocacy Council.org. And some of you may know what this is already. And they're looking for, did you know that a Chicago organization is trying to identify small businesses that wish to expand into brick and mortar spaces? The Small Business Advocacy Council wants to replace vacant properties in disinvested communities with businesses. You would go to smallbusinessadvocacycouncil.org and complete your application. And I'll put that. So they want to take businesses right now who are not big brick and mortar and help move them into vacant properties, help them with the whole plan, and okay, there it is. To every business council.org and help these businesses move into these vacant properties with financing, consultation, the whole thing possibly. Okay, so I'm sure that some of you can use that. I'm sure that you know people who could use that. We do not want to miss the boat, people. We don't want to miss the boat on that one. Amani, did you tell us about your business? I don't want to miss anyone. Am I missing anyone?
I just want to say hi. My name is.
You didn't tell us what you do.
Okay. So my company is Imani's Original Bean Pies. We sell various flavors of bean pie. Original, we have one with the cream cheese frosting on top, and then we also have vegan versions as well. So our company started with our then daycare / homeschool. And so those youth, which was my children from birth, and I call them all my children, but we grew Imani's Original Bean Pies, and we distribute the product in stores. Now we've added another component, Conversations Over Pies, as well as Imani Cares, not-for-profit, where now these young adults, can now give back and teach other young people what we call life skills. It's entrepreneurship skills, but it's really life skills. Because like Mr. Fairweather said, everybody may not want to have a business, right? But the same concepts apply to life. Even if you're at home, a stay-at-home mom, you still need to know how to budget, right? There's still things that you need to know how to do. So we just kind of implement those things, and we have a lot of fun with our business. And a lot of the youth that help to grow our companies, they do a lot of other things. So we have artists, we have muralists. My youngest daughter, she braids hair in the West Loop, at a shop in the West Loop. We have so many young people that's doing so many things. So what we plan to do is with Conversations Over Pie is to highlight many of them.
Wonderful.
Hey,
one thing I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say for the 183 number, that's actually someone that I got on board. Her name's Marion, so I do want her to introduce herself also.
Okay. We'll let
Hi,
her
everybody. Hi, I
Hi.
was referred by Cedrick. I'm new to the entrepreneurship. I do have my hands in multiple things, and I know I need help. I have an in-home child care. I have a restaurant that I have to close down, but I still have the building, still paying on that and funding that through the daycare. And I also have a party event catering business that me and my niece do. So we're trying to run all three of the businesses. I met Cedrick about 2.5 years ago. He's helped me with my credit. He's been my mentor. He tells me to get on these Zoom calls and learn things, and you guys said so much today. I hope I retained some of this information that was given out. There was a lot that was said. And being that I'm new to this, I'm open to learning. And I love to hear everybody's story and what everybody is doing. And I'm also quiet too because I'm learning. I'm not very talkative because when I do, I don't know how to shut up. But I thank y'all, and I look forward to being on many of these calls.
Where are you located?
Oh, I'm located in Racine, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Wonderful.
And a little
wonderful.
else about myself, I just received a pardon. I was a felon over 20 plus years. I just moved back from Tampa, Florida 4 years ago. And I was up there about 18 years. And I don't have any kids, and I'll be 52 this year.
Welcome home.
Wonderful. Give Cedrick your name and your email so I can add you to our mailing list. And so you can come back and visit with us again, okay?
All right, sounds good.
We look forward to. Imani, you know, when you say that you were giving out dinners, and Ms. Douglas, I think I skipped you, but I want to come back to you. Imani, when you say you were giving out dinners tomorrow or serving food tomorrow, you remind me there was a program over at University of Illinois some time back, and what they used to do, I don't know if it's the Jane Addams House or where it is. They used to serve soups, okay, because you say you serve a lot of soup and that type of thing. But what they did for every one of those lunches that they served the soup for, they didn't just give them food. They filled them with some other things as well. Now, they weren't preaching to them and you know, telling them what to do and all that kind of stuff. Each one of those soup days, a nice soup, you know, they have a chef come in, do the soup, serve the bread, and just, it was nice, okay? It'll have a theme and a question for it, okay? The people could talk about why they're doing that. So they were not only sharing soup, because you got to give people more than a piece of bread and a bowl. Got to give them something to walk out the door with on their mind. Got to fill their mind and their heart and experience with something else. So when you said that, that was just a suggestion that I wanted to share with you and for you to think about. That's all. Because I'm always got some suggestions, don't I, Philip? I always got something to say about something, about everything.
Yeah, so the same thing for Imani. You know, I was thinking, you know, we're having this conversation on June 1st at this event. Maybe you and I could work together and we can call it a conversation over pie and then have the topic and, you know, showcase your stuff and you know, kind of blend what you're doing, because I want to hear more about how you're organizing that conversation. We have a professional moderator that'll be doing ours. But, you know, if we could do it, you know, more comfortably, you know, that would be great. And it would be a great opportunity to promote your stuff as well.
Okay, great. Sounds great. And you know, we probably do things probably way too comfortably sometimes because I work with youth and it's all about comfort. In fact, about it is I have been talking about conversations over pie for probably, well, I know since during the COVID. And we did a pop-up at Mama Africa's, and I just announced I'll be interviewing some of my colleagues. You all come in and we'll be interviewing you. We're gonna go live. And that's how we started it. So it was no program put to it. And to my surprise, we had a line of people, like, it was way more interviews, but then I saw that my youngest daughter was like a natural with it. She did a quick intro for our show. She was taking down everyone's information. And I'm saying, well, you're a natural. And then another young man, Naeem, who's like in his early 20s, but he was in my daycare way back. He's a photographer and an artist. So they just came together and we did it. They set it up really nice and we went live and that was the start of it.
Okay, well, I'll call you early next week and we'll talk through some ideas.
Okay.
Wonderful. And you don't know how bad I want some pie. You just, you know, just to keep
That's my sole
mentioning
motivation. You think I care whether anybody walks away with information? I want some of that pie.
do not really know. You're gonna see me real soon now. I'm telling you that. Miss Douglas, how are you? Did we lose you? Did you want to say a few words? Are you gonna be our final person? I didn't want to miss anybody. Did we talk to Miss Douglas?
No,
Well,
we
if
didn't.
we did, please forgive me, Miss Douglas. I don't know where you went. I don't know, but we tried. Okay.
Hello,
So
I am here. I
There
am
she is.
here.
oh, here she come, girl. You
Hi.
just skated by there.
Oh no, that is fine. That is
How
fine. I
are
was really just here to listen and to meet some new connections. So yeah, my name is Lashika Dore. I am the CEO of the Adore Collections. I live in Wisconsin, very close to you guys. Basically, I was just here to listen. Thank you for having me.
What's in your
Okay.
collections? Collections of what?
Women's clothing and accessories.
Okay. Do you have a brick and mortar? Is it all online?
I do not have a brick and mortar. I am online. I am hoping to stay online, but honestly, I've been getting a lot of signs from God and a lot of signs from like people close to me that it might be time to get a store. I am not sure yet.
Okay. Well, good luck with whatever you're thinking.
Thank you so much.
It's a big step, and we all still learning, and we all want to feel comfortable. And I want to thank all of you. I'm feeling very comfortable and very thankful, as I usually am when I leave these sessions. Once again, I'm Sonia Cassandra Purdue. I haven't met all of you in person, but I've met a few of you in person. And I'm always grateful, and I like these sessions. They're not large, but boy, do we really connect, and do we really get some things done, and do we really learn some things? Yes, we do. And I like that part. I like coming out. I like bringing people together from different industries, okay, and having them talk about what they do. We had a nursing, like I said, we had nursing advocates. We had an act coach, retail specialist. We had a nutritionist. We had a whole different group of people, and we all can gain some from all of this. I'm going to end on time. Oh, we're doing great. 7:55, people. It flies by, but it's time for you to go and get your break and get you something to eat. And I'm very thankful. And I'll touch bases with all of you next week. Good to meet you, Cedrick. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have a good evening, everyone.
Yeah, it was great meeting everyone. Have a good night.
Nice meeting everybody.
Thank you so
All right,
Enjoy
thank
y'all
you
night.
guys.
Good night.